Welcome to This Commerce Life. We are an unscripted podcast dedicated to small businesses and entrepreneurs in the retail and consumer packaged goods space in Canada and the United States.
I am Phil Chang, co-host and co-founder.
And I'm Kenny Vanucci, co-host and co-founder of This Commerce Life.
Our love is the journey to retail, and our passion is sharing that with you every week.
How are you doing today,
Kenny?
Phil?
I'm good, Kenny.
You know what, Phil? You know what I
Yeah?
learned today?
What?
I no longer say OMG in the afternoon.
Why
Or in
do
the
you-
early evenings. You know why, Phil?
Why is that?
Because I know you're
Why?
dying to know. Why? Ask me
Yes.
why, Phil.
Why, Kenny? Why do you
Because
no
now
longer
I say OGB.
OGB?
OGB. Do you want to know what that means,
OGB.
Phil?
What does that mean, Kenny?
Old growth beverages.
Old
I have
growth
found,
beverages.
mostly because I'm a part owner, but I have still found it in the house. I have never drank chai. I'm dead serious. This is the honest goodness, no more fooling around on this, because we're going to post this anyway, but no more fooling around.
Okay.
Honestly, I've never drank chai ever. And I've been drinking a cup of chai a day. I love this stuff. I love the cinnamon. I love the ginger. I love the pepper kick in the background. I love it with a little bit of oat milk. I love it with a little almond milk. I love it with a little bit of dairy. But I have been drinking this stuff literally every single day for the last couple
Kenny.
weeks. OGB, Phil. OGB.
Listen, so do you spend all that time brewing a nice cup of chai? Because a nice cup of chai takes a couple hours to make.
Phil, no. Now I'm going to share even something more better for you. All the recipes that we have are, I don't like the word necessarily instant, but I'm going to say instant. They're highly dissolvable. All you have to do, add boiling water, whether it's the chai, the London fog, or the matcha. And we have a couple new flavors coming next couple weeks, but we'll talk about those later. All you have to do is hot water, stir. And literally, you get to drink and consume all the nutrients of the tea leaf. You ingest all the awesome spices. Honestly, fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. OGB, Phil.
OGB.
Not OMG anymore, Phil.
OGB, Kenny. I love it. Hello.
Oh, we get 2 for the price of 1 today. Look at that.
Excellent.
Surprise.
It's a
Surprise.
bargain. It's
We
a
love
bargain.
I
surprises.
didn't know I was gonna be here. Okay, this
So it's a surprise for him.
No. So first you have to read 2 old guys, so he could have told us, and we'd be like, what? Okay. We could have totally forgotten. So it's
Plus the surprise sounds
entirely
like it's more on Avi than it is on you and I, because
fair.
apparently you didn't know you were having company. So
Sorry, guys. It was a crazy week. I totally forgot to mention this. This is my wife, Benny, though.
how are
Hi,
you?
nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
Welcome
for
to the
having me,
podcast.
guys.
Yeah.
No,
we're
I'm
excited.
glad you accepted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. Can you guys hear me okay? Like,
Yep.
is there...
Yeah. All good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, this would be our first podcast. We've never done a podcast before.
Woohoo!
Yes.
We've had a lot of first timers, to be very
Yeah.
honest with you. We have had a lot of first timers. Actually, even in the last month, Rattan was a first timer
Yeah.
from Jiva. Dave
there's
was a first timer.
Dave was a first timer.
Yeah, we've had lots of first
Dave
timers.
Schneiderman from Two Bears.
So we either scared, this might be your last
Yeah.
one, because we'll scare the shit out of you. You'll never go on a podcast again. Or this could be like a string of many.
Yeah.
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 I know.
Who knows?
I know Rattan. So I did listen to that one, and I was talking to Benny about it. I was like, I think it's going to be just really chill. We're just going to talk.
We are.
Buddy, this is it. This is about as complicated
This is about as
this
prepped as we
gets.
get. Like we don't really.
Yeah.
We're really
we
not
kinda
that bright
love-
either to do much more than this.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So welcome to the show, Kenny. Do you want to do an intro?
yeah.
Let's
So,
jump in.
and it's funny because I've never met either of you, obviously.
Yeah.
I think the real contact came through Craig.
Mhm.
And I asked him, I said, listen, would you mind setting me up? Because I had read the history of obviously your folks, Avi, and what they had done. And I actually thought farming karma, like I thought it was karma, like karma, karma. And then I realized, well, no, that's actually his first name, which I thought was pretty cool too, because I thought, okay, this is actually a cool story. And then it sounds like your mom and dad did this for numerous years as mostly, I guess, doing an orchard. Decided to start doing a little bit more. I don't know if it was the 3 kids, right? There's 3 of you that were involved.
Yeah. So my wife and I, so Binny and I, my name's Avi, and then my brother Sumit.
Okay, so the three of
Okay.
you are the ones I'm assuming to push them into potentially, hey, you should do a little bit more. The juices come along. They're phenomenal juices. I work with Rattan and we distribute through Jiva. I carry them in our little grocer. It's beautifully packaged, super tasty, super clean. So like when Craig said, I thought, yeah, shit, let's have these guys on. This is a really neat story. Love family stories. So we're
So
pretty stoked. So we've got these guys on.
yeah.
They're from the Okanagan,
Yeah.
the interior BC, Kelowna. You got 45 minutes to an hour. Just tell your story. I would assume you're going to start with the folks where you
Yeah.
guys come in, why you do this, why you continue to do this, because it's a tough world to be in these days. And just tell us what goes on.
Well, funny thing, so my mom and dad, my dad's name's Karma, like you mentioned, they've been farming. I grew up on a farm here on an apple orchard. And when he first pitched it, he's like, we should just have something to do with karma, right? Like there's a double meaning. I was like, yeah, right, Dad. Like you just want
You
Well,
just
whatever.
want
He
to
gets
on
his
the
name out
company.
there. Why not?
Yeah. But you know what? It didn't work out. It was a good idea after all.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, so he was like, yeah, we should do karma something. And then anyways, we came up with farming karma, and yeah, we've been building it ever since. It's been a great journey. My background's in pharmacy. Binny, you can
Mine
talk.
is engineering. We met at UBC Vancouver when we were going to school there. And then once we got married and came back here to get settled down, that's when we really started wrecking our brains. Honestly, Karma used a little bit of a scare tactic. He said, do you guys want to do farming or do you want me to sell the orchards? Like, where's
Oh
this going?
no.
So really, it's an ultimatum. It's either you're
Oh,
helping me or we're going to kill the
no.
dream and the legacy, and it's going to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
He pulled the whole parent
Wow,
thing.
that's
The
a
whole
good. That's a guilt card. That's
I
old
guess
school.
if you want to throw away all of this work, I
Oh,
guess
your
I
mother
could
and I
just
broke our backs for years so you guys could go to school.
That's what they said right there.
Yeah. He said,
You know
you
what?
have a few years.
They're
It wasn't
Chinese and
easy.
Italian. I mean, trust me. This is
Yeah,
how
yeah,
our
we've
culture.
had these
Indians say
conversations
these
before.
cultures work perfectly this way. This is how we
Yeah.
run. Guilt is a tool.
Yeah.
It was an immediate threat, but it was, in a few years, like you kids
yeah,
need
it's
to figure it
planted.
out.
It's planted.
And we can see
Yeah.
where it goes.
So yeah, I was working at Rexall at the time. I was a fresh graduate. They put me in a manager role. And then I started, our idea was to, like my dad grows, our family grows apples, cherries, and pears. And our thing was, let's juice some apples and maybe we can sell them at a farmer's market or a fruit stand or something. So we started with that. Absolutely no idea about what machines to use to juice apples. But my dad always likes to, he's been doing business for, I guess, 30 years. So he always likes to go highly efficient, high technology. Next thing you know, we have a bunch of equipment and a canning line, and we're like, it's too late to turn back.
Nobody knows how to use it, but that's all good. It's okay.
Yeah. So I was learning. I mean, at the time, the first time I used a saw to build our shop. So if you ever get a chance to visit our tasting room in Kelowna, it's very rustic kind of feel. It's like old apple bins on
That's
the wall
awesome.
and a tasting bar. So we did a lot of that, and I got to thank my dad and mom for believing in the marketing. At that time, we hadn't sold anything. But there I was putting in all my time putting a tasting bar together. But yeah, no, it was a great experience. We launched our first apple soda in 2020, and just wanted to have a healthy kind of product and just put
Very
something
cool.
clean into our community.
Very cool.
Wow.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
so we didn't want to just do the same thing as dad was doing, which would be fine, but if we were gonna become a part of the business, we said that we wanted to add something to
Right.
it, and that's really where the idea was born. Like, sure, we can continue what you're doing, but he's doing a great job at it. He doesn't
But it's
really
a tough gig too. Without a value add, you're really
Right.
at the mercy of strictly commodity prices. So
So that
apples
was a
are
big
80 cents a
factor.
pound today. They're 80 cents a pound.
Yeah.
Tomorrow they're 75 cents or 60 cents or whatever the pound's going to be because you're on the other side.
Yeah.
Actually, probably not even that high when you're the producer.
No,
I know.
No.
I never thought.
nowhere near
Yeah.
that high.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not much better on the retail side. It's the people in the middle who do okay.
I know.
The
I
two
know.
ends don't do as well, but that's a whole different
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
That'll be the next podcast. That's another
Yeah.
podcast.
So that was definitely one of the other motivating factors as well, because the year we started our company, the few years before that was pretty rough for apple prices.
Right.
People weren't even getting their cost back. And so
Right.
you're pretty much putting money into the apples to feed everybody else, but you're not even paying your cost, right?
Right.
So this definitely played into it. You know, now we didn't know as much then, but now we know that we have more control over our pricing. You know, I'm not going to sell my product unless it covers my cost for sure, right? Like that's not a concern in this industry versus
Right.
commodity like apples and cherries.
It's a different gig though, right? And I think it's probably
Definitely.
smart. But you guys don't have you're a pharmacist and engineer. There was no business.
No, I have some banking background. I worked in personal and commercial finance, so I knew a little bit about money, but definitely not business directly. But I think a lot of stuff does translate over, like the skills that you learn going to school or in the workforce, it definitely played a role. We will tell you how much lab work he does at Farmi Karma testing.
Yeah. Never thought I'd have to pull out a microscope again, but I did at one point. I had no idea how what fermentation was when we started. And our whole thing was no sugar added, no preservative. Well, I learned quickly that, you know, there's airborne yeast and it's going to start fermenting and we had to figure that out.
Make a nice cider.
Yeah, nice cider. But yeah, and then my dad had a background as well. He was part of the BC Tree Fruit on the board of directors. So I think that experience there, the 7 years he had there,
Right.
being on that board, allowed him to understand that how important marketing is. So he really let us invest into the brand. Yeah.
Did your folks come upon farming via their folks, or was it something? Did they immigrate to Canada and just start farming, or was it?
Yeah, they immigrated to Canada. They first moved to Penticton. That's where I was born. So I know they had they've been working in the Okanagan since 1990 on various farms and orchards. We first got our first orchard in East Kelowna in 1994.
Okay.
So I moved here. I did my whole from kindergarten to grade 12 in Kelowna, then moved to UBC in Vancouver for about 4 years. Yeah. And then I moved back here.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, cool, and they had farming back in India as well, same as my family. Most of our families are from farming background back in India, so it seemed like something that they.
I just assumed it was, but it's not an assumption you should make. But I assumed it was because a lot of those skill sets are stuff that they would bring over. I mean, that's thank God.
It is very, very different farming though.
I bet.
I don't know about fruit trees where we're from. It's mostly like wheat and rice and things like that. So it's not directly relatable, but definitely the hard work and the tractor
work ethic, right? It's just that that long days and not a lot of money in between.
So was that something that you guys, like the two of you, right? You moved away to Vancouver, so you got a chance to, live in the city, kind of do city things. Did either of you see yourself going back to the farm?
You know what? Growing up, like you guys mentioned, farming is a tough gig. Yeah. So I was always told, go to school and do something other than farming. But
you picked a solid Asian, like immigrant, like all the parents, it was like engineering, pharmacy. Like my parents were both engineers. So when I said I wanted to study English, my dad was like, English, like what about like civil engineering? That's almost not even engineering. Or you're like, Dad, it's not the same thing, right? Like
can you tell we are both like pleasers? Like we definitely want to make our parents happy, so that is part of the thing. Like we're both very close to our families, and so moving back to Kelowna, that was a big deciding factor, because we did want to be close to them, and eventually when we had our own family, we wanted the grandparents around. So
and ultimately it's despite choosing the different career paths that are different than farming, we do want to make farming kind of cool. Like it is cool.
It is cool.
It's a big part of our economy, and it's not a like I remember even growing up, just my view on, you know, our day-to-day business. Like it was, oh, become the pharmacist or go towards engineering or be like, that's really important too. But farming is cool.
Yeah, like, I think it was looked down upon by a lot of people, if we're just being like serious here, right? Like, so a lot of kids were embarrassed to even admit that their parents were farmers, and that's not a great thing, because you should be proud of farming. And as kids, we didn't know these things, but now we do, and we're proud. And however it got us here, we are proud that we are continuing the family tradition of farming.
I think it's fabulous.
Adding something to it, right?
Yeah.
So
you think about it. If we've ever had a time where if we haven't learned, which sometimes I'm not convinced we learn much of anything, but if we haven't learned how important the food supply chain is, and how important it is to have stuff grown, produced, manufactured, distributed, you know, within your own communities, we'll say Canada, BC for sure. You know, you can, you know, when we hit supply chain issues, it sure show that if you wanted apples out of Idaho or Oregon, I mean, you weren't going to get them. Yeah, you can barely get them out of BC.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So really and truly, it is one. It's not even just cool. It's critical.
Yeah, it's critical. It is. Yeah.
And COVID really showed us that, right? We saw that.
I think so pretty clearly that we're a mess.
Yeah. Supply chain.
Don't do enough at home.
Food security is a big one, right?
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we've been growing there, and it's nice that you know, we can get that feeling out of the work that we do.
It's awesome.
It's really fun. Like I have a great time going to work and making sodas and all the stuff that goes with it. But for us, for Binny and I, it was and the whole family, it was every day's a learning day. Even today, like we shipped our first products to Loblaws, and even some technology that comes up in there, or how to do it, or how to get the SE barcodes, and it's
a whole different world.
The vendor portal. The vendor portal is an adventure on its own.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that one. Yeah, but no, it's a really fun experience on a day in, day out, all the way from marketing, sales, manufacturing. It's just been a awesome journey, and we've had awesome mentors along the way too. Like our community's awesome. Everyone's kind of feels like everyone's rooting for us to do cool stuff. And Peter, independent grocer here, he's the first retailer to take us in.
Not surprised. He's pretty ahead of the curve, considering he works for sometimes a company who's not necessarily so far ahead of the curve.
No, Peter's been awesome.
He supports a lot of
he's very community focused.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I walked in there, and I feel like such a rookie when I tell the story. He asked, so hadn't sold a single can, like just made it fresh, right? I don't like, to me, it didn't even taste that good back then. And Peter asked me like, oh, I'll put it in my store. What's your minimum order? I was like, 1 full pallet.
Like, yeah, sure, good for you.
And he said sure, but I still apologize to him. I always say sorry, man. I didn't mean to sell you a pallet right off the bat.
At that point, I remember we were selling singles at Kelowna Farmers Market.
Exactly.
So he was really overshooting it there.
But yeah, he really believes in us, and he believed in us, and he continues to kind of mentor us through the anytime there's challenges. I always give him a shout to see.
He's a good retailer.
Yeah.
He's a good retailer. He understands the game. So you're independent grocer, Phil, in Kelowna. It's called Pete's. Pete's Egg.
But you know what's really funny is, like, even at that point, you go 1 full pallet. You probably had to go back and go, how many are on a pallet? Like, I don't even know what my pallet
what
big is. Changed like, over
do we have a box or a carton?
So what's your tie high? And you're thinking, well, I don't usually wear a tie.
Right? Like,
at,
I didn't know what tie high was.
And I'm not doing any drugs while I'm doing so. There's no tie highs. I don't know what you're asking.
I actually didn't. Yeah, we had no idea how to even stack a pallet. I remember I was driving with half a pallet in the back of my pickup truck on Highway 33, and it falls on the side of the highway.
No.
Oh, the cans are all over the highway, but our community is pretty awesome. A lot of people stopped and then collected our cans and dumped them in the truck.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But like that's what I mean. Like, especially our community here, we're just so close and thankful for them. Like, immediately, I didn't even like. Next thing you know, like all the juice is flying off the back of my truck.
Yeah.
I didn't wrap it properly, and you shouldn't be carrying a pallet on the back of a pickup anyways.
You figured that part out, eh?
Next thing you know, there's 7 people just directing traffic, picking up all the cans, dumping them back in. And those are things that, you know, those are experiences that we'll never forget, right? As we go through
it's all part of learning, buddy. It's all part of learning. You know, you're a pharmacist and an engineer. I mean, the engineer I expected a little bit more from than.
That was not part of loading.
I'm just saying. I'm not. I didn't say which engineer. I'm just saying in
general. No, you know, that conversation goes the way our conversation. It's like you're gonna put it on the back of the truck like that. Like, yeah, it'll be fine.
Don't worry about it. I won't go anywhere.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going back inside.
I am kind of traumatized since that. Like, I'm extra careful now. Anything I do. I remember I was listening to a Post Malone song, never listened to it since.
Yeah.
On my drive. I was like,
if it makes you feel better, it's exactly how the conversations would go in both our households. It'd be like,
for sure, 100%.
Because we were both married to accountants, so it would go, is that
sure?
safe? Is that how you're going to do it? Like, it'll be fine. Don't worry. Like, it'll be quick.
Yeah.
It's only 5 minutes.
Inside, okay?
What's going to happen?
I get consulted on the questionable things because they know I would say I'm the person like 100% ready for whatever happens.
Yeah,
and
50 scenarios all mapped out.
Him and Dad do questionable things.
You
know, when our machines got delivered and how they had to unload them. You know, I'm just like the person that'll think it through until I know for sure. And they're just like, let's go, let's just do it, figure it out. Right? So I think it helps. I think it helps to have the different personality types.
Well, you have to. It's a compliment. You can't if you're both the same. It's harder to do things. You need to compliment, right?
And that's what in our team we all bring different aspects. Like Binny has the financial aspect. I got the science background, or I'm the day-to-day guy. Right. my dad is the farmer, and my mom, she's still helping out. Like, we just welcomed our firstborn son.
No way! Congratulations!
It's a year. He's a year and a half old.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Well, that's still.
It feels like
no. That's
still good. That's still. Peanut size.
So we've had to learn how to balance, our company with.
You look pretty good though. Neither of you look very sleep deprived.
Oh, I think the lighting is fooling you.
Maybe it's sunny in Kelowna today. I don't know.
Definitely. Both. You don't look completely stressed out, so that's good.
Yeah.
So it operationally. So your mom's mom just runs everything in the world, but that's a different world. Dad does farming, so your operations, been your finance.
I've been working full time still, just to make sure how startups are, right? Like
100%,
whatever
you need to fund them.
You got to put it back in the company. So we're really focused on growth.
Right.
And I continue to work full time and then also do any of bigger decisions. We discuss things every day at the end of the night. I'm more of the idea person, and then I'll do a lot of public speaking, interviews, trade shows, anywhere that we're representing Farming Karma.
Yeah.
I go with him to do those type of things, but he's definitely handling the day-to-day.
And Sumit does what with you?
Sumit just finished school, so he did the physio. He's been taking care of some things down in the Lower Mainland. Just helping our sales down there, any sort of things when we ship pallets, receive empty cans and things like that. He'll do all of that. So he'll be back in Kelowna soon. He just got licensed as a physio, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, the family's very big on getting your education right, because it's always a fallback.
Hey, most old school is because the folks never had a chance.
Yeah,
exactly.
They never got a chance to be educated. In most cases, I mean, that's why you come here. You come here because you're trying to do better than what their parents could do for them, and when their kids are here. You want your kids. I was the first one. I was the first one to go to university in my family.
Yeah,
I was the first one. I mean, that's part of it. That's the game, right?
Yeah, and we talk about it all the time that we don't use our degrees, but the experiences.
You use your degree because how you learn and how you get.
It's the learning.
Learning teaches you a very different way to see life and how to think things through.
Exactly. So as much as we wanted Sumit to stay and help us, and he wants to be part of being in Kelowna, but it was very important for him to kind of get the same experiences as we did, and then move on when he's ready to do so. So he
for sure.
and over the last year or so, a lot for the longest time, it was just like family business, but we have been able to hire a few people on our team that
awesome.
that are also pretty much family at this point. And
that's good though.
Yeah, and like to be responsible for everything, like from production to managing the store to selling to online sales, like it was a lot. It was very overwhelming. And before we decided to have a family and have, decide to have our kid, we wanted to make sure that the company was set up. So yeah, we have a few really great people on our team that are helping us, and we realized that actually doing everything on your own isn't the best idea, even though you think that maybe I'm saving money, or maybe if I'm involved in every decision it's going to be the best one, right? And then you bring on the first person, you're like, oh, like they're actually helping me so much more than if I was just going to do this on our own. So with each person we added to our team, it was like mind-boggling how much it helped. They weren't just taking stuff off of our plate, they were actually adding so much more value.
Absolutely.
And Craig is the newest member of our team, and we're so grateful.
Well, Craig knows sales. Craig knows people. He knows how to move things around, right? I mean, you can do it. Like you can do it all. You just won't do any of it very well,
right?
Because you run out of time. You run out of a day.
And
really, your expertise isn't that. I mean, you can learn it, but why do you want to take 10 years to learn something?
But you also
someone already knows.
You also want, like, it's the mix, right? It's the mix of having a vision of where you want to go, and then having kind of like the gravity to know what you can do right now, because sometimes you get founders that they just want to be $1 billion today, right? And you kind of look around at all the employees and go, why do they look so tired? Because they have 18 things they want to do to get to $1 billion today. But like having the big picture and also the practical helps you. And then adding people, right, allows you to keep your eye on the big picture. And
I think that's
people
what I was going to go, Phil, is that if you don't have bodies around you that have other expertise and can fill in a lot of gaps, and to your point, Vinny, add value, is you can't watch the big picture because you're stuck in the minutia. Like, how do you?
Yes,
you can't. It's impossible. Like, you got to have that around. So let me actually the two of so mom and dad have been doing this for 30 years of doing the orchard, right? So how far back are we going when the idea of the tasting bar and putting things in cans and all this stuff happened? How long ago was this? Like 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah, so I would say that all started around 2018.
So we
it's not that far.
2017, and then moved back home. And then and the year after, that's when the ball kind of.
So it's only been 4 years.
Yes. Yeah. And since so we first launched our apple soda and Craig was a big part of that. We launched that in at the end of 2019, and then 3 months later COVID happened. So we had these single apple soda cans sitting in Sobeys stores, so Safeways in BC, and we were really stoked on that. That was the first time we've ever had a large retailer have our product, but then everyone stopped going to lunches, I guess. So single cans didn't sell that well. But that actually
we pretty much launched in the middle of COVID, right? So it wasn't great timing.
So for us, I think the part that I love about our team is that we always try to take a negative and kind of say that, you know what, this is probably happening for a reason, and how do we turn it around? And because of that, we developed our 6-pack. Then we developed 4 different other flavors. Next thing you know, Sobeys presented us with the Innovative Product of the Year award, and it started taking off from there. And
awesome.
That's all humbling to us, because it's not like we've been in the retail game for years and years and years. We just take the word from our higher ups, or what our Sobeys rep is saying, or what Peter says, or what Craig is saying, and we take that and we just go with it.
Yeah, and the only reason we had the time to come up with the different flavors is because sales were so bad during COVID. We had nothing to do. And we're just like, we need to do something. We have these machines sitting here. We have to make use of it. And so, okay, let's launch another flavor. And in hindsight, that's really what launched us. If we'd stuck.
You learn that presence. I know mentally when you're going in, like you said, hey, Peter, take a pallet. Peter's thinking, okay, why would I take a pallet on a brand new product? Nobody knows, but whatever, sure, okay.
Yeah.
And but now you learn what facings are. Well, with one product, would you really think you're going to get 8 facings?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
what planet are you? Be lucky to get 2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One is probably where it's going to land, and now one in a 4-foot with 150 other SKUs. Well, what are you?
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I wanted to ask you that too, though, because like you have, like, how did you land on drinks? Like, if you kind of think of the category, like to your point, Kenny, is that 4-foot set, there are like a million drink SKUs, right? So why drink, and why not say dried fruit or
whatever,
something else? Yeah, whatever else.
Applesauce. Interesting that you bring that up.
Yeah.
We have a dehydrated, I think still sitting at Farming Karma, because that was one of the original product ideas as well.
Yeah, so that's the one that Dad heard and said, hey, we need equipment.
Yeah. Hey, if anyone that's listening to this wants a dehydrator, never used, brand new,
brand spanking new.
Sarah Goodman at Chewy's.
Yeah.
I think she's just down the street from you, really. No, not really.
Up in Squamish. Not too far.
Not too far.
Yeah, no, we tried. I think again, I'll have to give credit to my dad. He is a visionary. And he's always wanted to do a value-added product. And whether he knew it would end up in a can, or the can would be what it is today with the no sugar and all the core values, he's always wanted to make juice. And his reasoning is, he used to be a field hockey player in India.
He was an athlete.
He was an athlete there. I think he even played in the BC games when he immigrated to Canada.
Wow.
But he always tells me that we never used to get juice in India. Like, it just never used to be a thing. So maybe it's like an internal thing where he's like, I want to make juice. I want to make.
Yeah, screw you guys, and no one's gonna give me juice. I gotta make my own.
Juice was one of those like treats that only certain times of the year, or maybe you had to have extra money to do things like that or whatever, right? I mean,
I
that's
think
interesting.
You could do fresh squeezed juice, but obviously that's not something that people were drinking every single day. And packaged juice, I grew up in India, so I don't remember drinking packaged juice. I don't think that was a thing ever.
And my dad is always likes to keep in touch with the farming community and the community in general in Kelowna. Mm-hmm. And I do got to give props to Tony Lewis. He was an owner here of some wineries. The Vibrant Wine and Frequency. And Tony actually, so we brought him on the team at the very beginning, and he kind of gave us the courage to, like, you need to get a 2,000 liter tank versus a 1,000 liter tank, or whatever it is, kind of courage you need to make the purchases and know that it'll work out, because Tony's kind of overseeing it. So that really helped us.
He's been in the beverage world for a while, right? So when you're first ordering these huge equipments, you really don't know what is what, right? So he helped guide.
He's probably trying to tell you, listen, you're going to be at 1,000 before you know it, and you're going to regret the 1,000 purchase.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
Even
2,000
now,
or whatever the liter is, and go bigger, go home.
Yeah, like we had like literally zero knowledge, guys, of any like glycol, 3-phase power, like all of it was brand new to us, and it was just a one step at a time, just learn. And food safety. Amazing. Yeah, food safety.
4 years. Yeah, and you're in.
I honestly, that's why but you said that's 28. I thought, okay, they probably started this in like 2010. Takes 5 years of farmers markets and farting around that way. That's pretty fast for.
But really,
you're on national distribution now.
Like national distribution, and you really aren't it's not an easy category, right? Like,
it's not a category that's got nothing in it. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of
like really tough players, right? Like, you've got the conventional pop and soda guys that are in this. You've got
conventional
all the
juice, carbonated
conventional
beverages.
Juices, the guys who crossed over, and then you guys live in like kombucha hell almost. Right? Like everybody makes
you're
kombucha.
fighting shelf space with.
You got a bathtub, you make kombucha, right?
Yeah, we got told that a lot, that beverage is such a competitive.
It's a tough category.
But like going back to your original comment, why beverage? So our idea was to sell juice, which a lot of farmers markets here do, right? It's the next step after growing the fruit, you can juice it. So we were just going to sell bag in a box. We were testing out popsicles. We also did dried fruit. So we were trying a few different things. But at the end of the day, I think it was the community that really told us when they drank the apple soda and the response we got versus the other stuff. They're just like, it tastes like biting into an apple. Like there's nothing like this out there. Like we didn't think the drink was as special as the treatment that we got back. And the fact that, somebody that bought one can came back to buy 6 and came back to buy 2 packs, right? So it wasn't really a decision that we made. It was there is
a little bit of luck involved there. Like I remember our second farmers market where there was one customer that just decided to stand by our booth and be like, "Come check this out. This is the best booth in the market."
That's amazing.
It's lucky.
You always need
one
of
lucky,
those,
right? If you do good product. And if you have a good product, people will back. And people love stories like this. People love, the immigrant story, and then the kids kind of following, and behind it, and there's a legacy play potentially. Come on, that's cool stuff, right?
But there's acumen there, right? Because awesome. You also need listening skills in that case, right? Because like there are lots of founders that go, "I've decided I'm going this route, and we're gonna go," right? But it takes something for you to go, wait, we wanted to go left, but every fan that we have told us to go right. So maybe we should check it out, right? So I think there's some luck, and then there's definitely like there's skills that kind of help you to be luckier. If that,
I think that's what I don't think there's very little luck per se. I think a lot of it is you put yourself into good places where you can find the luck. But it doesn't just happen. It's because you do a lot of right things. You just may not know you're doing them.
Yeah, and just that, just like there's a lot of times that there's, it gets hard, especially at the beginning. Now at least we see the light at the end of the tunnel, so we're going towards the light now. But at the beginning, it was pretty dark sometimes.
Don't do it. It's not time yet. Don't go to the
just
light.
Relax.
No.
Lots of time for the light. Lots of time.
It's that just like taking that negative experience and trying to turn it around. And I think that if, say, our family wasn't with us or we didn't have that group that we have, that I'm really impressed at that aspect of it, that how everybody kind of bands together. All right, COVID happened, sales went to basically nothing. How can we turn that around?
How do you pivot?
How do you pivot?
And feedback from people is definitely something that we take seriously even now. I remember when we were first going to make up the final formula for a juice, we were selling at farmers market, and a lot of people came back and they're just like, "It's very watered down." And we're like, "Okay, note taken." Like, we're going to go back and like rework this. And I think that's very important. That's why we credit, our community so much, that it was with their help that we did it. It wasn't in isolation that we came up with this amazing product. We made it from all the feedback, and even today, like we get so much feedback about people adding alcohol to our sodas, and we were just like, "Oh, you really like that? We're gonna make you an alcoholic version," right? Like that comes from the community. And so we have the Spirit Karma now, which also is starting to do well.
Getting to private liquor stores and things.
It's another space that is it's there. It's getting busier. So you're in private liquor stores. Like, we can give you a contact for one of the. We know the Jack's people pretty well.
Yeah, we launched
Jack's already. That's awesome, but
we launched earlier this year. It kind of, again, like the strike happened, so that kind of, especially for a new brand, it's hard to get there as is. So we're still working through all that. But then again, like I see that strike as probably, we're going to turn it into something positive, that maybe that allows us to, succeed at a later time. So it's all okay. We're going to keep kind of chipping away.
Well, let us know if you need a contact on that. We can put you through Jackson.
For sure.
They're good people, and they'd probably help you out.
Yeah.
So one thing, sorry, Phil, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So how big is the land that you guys own? Like, how much orchard are we talking?
Our family runs about 150 acres.
How many acres do you need to do what you're doing?
Yeah.
Like, do you ever Is there a supply issue coming? Is there I don't have enough trees coming? Do you have to buy from a million other local apple growers? Like what happens with us?
So not yet. Like we're not at that stage yet. So some of the, like I talked about, some of our core values, no sugar added. Another aspect is every time somebody drinks a can of our product, it's a serving of fruit per can. So it's not a pure juice. So that's what I believe makes us unique. It's not a pure juice. It's not a traditional pop. So we try to get, say, the nutritional value that you would get from eating a single apple, or the juice from a single apple in a can, and that allows scalability. Right now, we mostly grow ambrosia apples, and that's what we put into our product. There's still a lot of growth that we have available just with our own.
We're not even making a dent in it, so so that's definitely not a problem on the table for right now. And then
That's
if
amazing.
it were, there's some other fruits that, you know, we don't grow personally, and then we do source them from other local orchardists. So, you know, Lower Mainland and here in Kelowna, where we have lots of fruit available. So we'd be happy to then, you know, pay prices for to support our other farmers do the same, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to ask about the tasting room. We're both food people.
I love food.
So
love eating.
Like green apple gelato and apple fries poutine, salted caramel sauce.
Yeah.
What the heck, guys? Like you didn't think you were going to get through the episode without me asking.
Yeah. That's hiding the best stuff, man.
Yeah, I know.
Drinks are
again.
good. Come on, seriously.
I gotta credit local chef for doing that.
Okay.
Chef Scott. So he came in, and one day he's just like, all right, I need 10 apples. And he started slicing them up using our dehydrator for something, I guess, at the time.
So slightly used dehydrator.
The value of the dehydrator came down. I did
you should have said someone else's dehydrator.
So we wanted to experience you know, actually our if you ever get a chance to visit Farming Karma, our ultimate vision, and we keep improving it year by year, is for a family or a group of people to come in and kind of get an orchard experience. So on our property, there's a tasting bar. So we're trying to do these cool fruit, you know, things that people can purchase and try. There's viewing windows where you can see us making juice. They're in canning the product, so you get to see it. There's headphones where you get to listen on, you know, how it's done. And there's an RV park, a dog park, a frisbee golf course, a recording studio, and very nice view. So and the whole thing, that our ultimate vision is for people to come in there and kind of inspire the next generation that, hey, look, this is what
farming is cool. It's good, man. It's good.
We do school tours as well.
It's good for you guys. That's
amazing.
That's really important.
I really love that.
Again, I think farming, you know, became not even uncool. It just became sort of not viable. Like you had so many large multinationals come in, and you know, it became just producing a lot of shitty food. Just, you know, come on, it's quantity as opposed to old school. You know, your parents probably give a shit about the trees, and they worry about the trees. You know what I mean? And they worry about the neighbors' trees and the other neighbors' trees. Like it's different. You know, I'm sure the fruit tastes better. It has to. Because there's some love somewhere in there.
We live here in farming communities. There's farmers all around us. Avi's cousins, a couple of them actually have also taken up farming after their parents.
That's fantastic.
You know, we're all passionate about that, and it definitely makes you want to go grow better quality fruit to service your
I love the fact it's interior.
And the average age of a farmer is really getting up there. So it's really important for somebody, for the next generation.
We need someone to pick up, right?
Oh my God, we need lots of someones.
Lots of someones.
Seriously. We need lots of someones, and we need a lot of people doing smaller school things. I grew up in the Kootenays. I grew up in Trail, right? I was born and raised. And a lot of European community, and everybody had backyard farms, like a garden. Right? Old school, like you did vegetables, you did your things. We all took runs into the Okanagan every fall, picking up apples, picking up the pears, picking up, you know, 1 trillion pounds of potatoes. We'd go to Grand Forks, do the same thing. You know, you hit Osuyas, you'd hit like the whole run, right? And it sort of died there for a long time too. And a lot of orchards went to vineyards.
Yeah.
Which is lovely.
Yeah.
But, you know, as locals, we don't really get a lot of that. Most of the better stuff doesn't stay here.
Yeah.
It leaves bottled, which is good. I mean, I guess it fuels the economy, but you know, we kind of need this.
Yeah, I think we need more positive stories about farming. We need to put it in a better light instead of thinking of it as a negative thing, that, as you know, we were instilled as we were children, that you do anything but this. It definitely needs a reframe, and we're having these conversations here, and I think it makes a difference.
And I think the value added. So a lot of the times, my dad and I will have a discussion, and it's the branding aspect, and I think the wine world has done this beautifully, where you know they have branding involved there. A lot of other tree fruits, say cherries and apples, we just grow commodity, right? Like we're growing a commodity, an apple, and there's no brand associated with it. But a lot of cool things start happening when there's a brand associated with it.
100%.
Because now all of a sudden it's not an ambrosia apple, it's a Farming Karma ambrosia apple.
You're in the driver's seat, right?
Yeah, you're in the driver's seat. You get to
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You think about the experience, like I like that, because I think, you know, like as kids, when you take kids, right? Like you won't have to take your kid because your kid will live on a farm. But I'm a city boy, so like, you know, when my parents took me, like apple picking was, you know, it was okay until you had to like carry the baskets home. And then like the worst was things like strawberry picking, because you had to be on your hands and knees, you get stung by bees, like all sorts of things you didn't understand. But like when I take my kids, we have like I'm in Ontario, right? So there's an apple farmer out here, Chudley's, right? And Chudley's has done the same thing, right? They turned their orchard into a little bit of there's a hay ride, you can get a corn maze, like, and all of a sudden the kids are like, this is an experience, right? Like I'm not really going to pick apples. I'm going to have a lot of fun and have, you know, they don't eat corn at home, but they can still see that someone does
pick apples or something.
Yeah.
Like
so I think what you're doing is really cool.
I think it's fantastic. I really do. And it's really good.
It's a great way to inspire, you know, the younger generations to think about this.
Super important.
So, yeah.
Super important.
You guys, it was so cool to have you on.
So before they go, so okay, anything cool coming? Like what's coming up?
Yeah, what's coming up? Don't tell us any trade secrets.
Don't do any massive secret, but any cool stuff coming?
We're actually working on a new, so we got a lot of ideas in terms of beverages.
Yeah.
So we're working on a new brand line right now. Something that'll allow us to take, so our Farming Karma brand is Okanagan fruit, right?
Yeah.
So but we also have an idea of something to do with mangoes or, you know, watermelon, like that kind of stuff. So
cool.
We're making a new beverage line with that.
Very cool.
Then,
does that involve opening up a farm somewhere tropical where you can grow mango?
Yeah. Maybe.
Just saying. Just saying. That'd be kind of cool too.
You know who's pushing the mango a lot? Karma. So
Karma knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But mango is very close to our heart. It's one of the favorite fruits in India. I grew up eating it. I know Avi makes fun of me all the time. Like I can have mango everything all day. Mango cake, mango ice cream, mango smoothie. It doesn't matter. So that
makes sense from a cultural aspect and from you know, from heritage and things that remind you of childhood and all those cool things in life. I think it's really neat.
And now we have a member on our team, Dal, who's actually really great at coming up with new formulations. And when we first came up with the apple soda, it took us a very long time to tweak it. And you know, we know better now, but so yeah, we've got a strong team that allows us to innovate new products as well. So that's the direction we're going in. Some of the flavors that aren't local to us, but people still want to drink them. So putting them under a different brand line, giving them some of those new products.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah,
I think that's wonderful.
So that's kind of what's happening. And then the other stuff, just focusing on how to expand our beverages. Like we were at CHFA East.
Yeah.
And I think you were there as well. Was it I saw on your page that you were there as well. We missed you,
well, you would have only seen Kenny.
I was by myself because he got sick the day before and he couldn't go.
Oh, okay.
And you know, it's funny, I finished the last booth at 4:58.
Oh wow!
Like right at 5 o'clock, and I thought, like, shit. I mean, and I honestly, I barely saw. No, I did walk.
We were actually we were probably at the end. That's probably why you missed
probably.
us. We were way in the corner.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I was with Rattan, so him and I walked.
Yeah.
Most of the show, but it's hard. And plus, I've been around too long, so you hit so many people. Like,
yeah,
so
we saw
many
him
people.
towards the very end. I remember.
Rattan was one of our first distributors, probably our first distributor, I should say.
I think he likes the product.
My best friend kept telling me, he's like, my cousin does this. He can help you out with apple soda. It ended up being Rattan.
That's funny. Yeah.
That's his brother-in-law. But yeah, small world.
That's hilarious.
That's
so. I was already working with Rattan by the time my friend got to me.
That's good though. It's nice again, and it's family on family too. That's another family business. In Finland, I've been having a lot of our guests lately have been lots of families, and it's talking about sort of the legacy, and it's really wonderful to see because these industries can tend to be not sexy, like we talked about, or not cool, and that's really, really unfortunate and really a shame because it's critical. I mean, we all have to eat. We all have to. Nourish ourselves. I mean, without farmers and people like you guys, I mean, what are we going to do?
Yep.
Yeah, and small businesses are the backbone of our
community,
right?
Absolutely.
And we didn't know as much until we got into it ourselves, but I think a message for everybody to take away is that support your local businesses, especially the ones that you really like, their products, their services, whatever industry they're in. Support them, because COVID was very rough. Like, there's a lot of businesses that closed. The ones that survived are limping on. Some have thrived, but most are just surviving. And we know that we're going to have a couple of rough years coming.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough time. I mean, we're not going to get a break for like a 4 or 5 year run there.
No, and so don't wait till it's too late, because I hear people saying, "Oh, you're closing. Like, what can we do to help you out?"
It's too late by then.
Being here a year ago would have been nice.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and there's many ways to support your businesses. It's not always financial. Obviously, purchase when you can. If you can't purchase, leave reviews, talk to your friends and family, share them on social media, right? So there's so much that people can do, and we really should at this time, because it's going to be a tough couple of years for everybody. It's
going to be, but you know what? We'll all get through it like we always do, but it's going to only work if we're all together and working through together. Right. You two are a treat. Hopefully that was not a hard first podcast. Hopefully that was relatively painless.
No.
Yeah. I forgot that it's being recorded, actually. So
no, I'm just joking. It's all good.
I just make sure I just check.
Guys. I really want to thank you guys for
Oh my God! Don't thank us. Thank you. Honestly, that's you're an absolute pleasure and a treat.
Story. Yeah, and I'd love to meet you guys in person someday.
Yeah, we would love that.
We'll see if either CHFA West. I've got family still in Osoya, so we do come to the interior periodically. So if we do take a burn through East Kelowna, we'll definitely stop by.
Awesome. And
the other thing, when you guys launch your new product, we can jump on. So what we've been doing, we have the long form podcast, but we also do like what we call kind of fast thoughts. So we'll do a little 10-minute get together, and we post them to YouTube. So it would be awesome. Like we could jump on, have a drink together, right? And talk about the product. Whenever you launch, like just to give you a little bit of extra hype. We'd love to do that. I think that would be.
We love the story.
Super fun,
awesome.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we really try to pick people come on the show that just have cool stories. I do. I particularly like this one, and I'm going to thank Craig and Rattan for the introductions and doing this.
Yeah, we have to thank them as well. And you've been so easy to talk to. This has been a really great experience. We're not scared off from podcasts.
Yay! Yeah, we love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. If people want to find
you or the brand
or Farming Karma, where do they?
Or if they want to find Karma, because apparently he's there somewhere.
Maybe maybe somebody has a mango. Is it a mango orchard that you would need? So like, I'm a city boy. I don't even know what that means. Like, if somebody has a mango orchard, they want to sell Karma. Where do they find you guys? You're like, no.
Maybe for a dehydrator or something.
Or if you need a dehydrator, absolutely. Could be.
Yeah. And if anyone wants a slightly used, great condition, almost mint,
almost new in box.
Yeah.
I actually hit it with a 6-pack once I was walking by. It has.
We're not going to talk about that part though. No, we don't. That was Chris.
It was mostly mint, rarely used dehydrator.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The more you talk to me about the dehydrator, the more the value's going to go down.
That's enough about the dehydrator.
Yeah, I think the boss beside you needs to stop you talking about the dehydrator now.
Buy a 6-pack, get a free dehydrator.
How do they find you? How do they find your company?
So we have our online store, which services Canada-wide. So if you don't see us in your local store, especially out east, we're still just making our way over there. You can definitely order online. There is free shipping after a minimum order of 100. And then, locals obviously can find us here at our store, manufacturing facility, farmers markets, and Avi will talk to you about the store.
The superstores are bringing us on in BC.
That's awesome.
Safeways have always been a great partner. Thrifties, Save on Foods, and and Farm Boys out east. They carry us as well.
Oh, really? Okay,
makes total sense.
Milo, Nestor.
Okay.
So all the local chains and all our local independents.
All our local chains.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
And,
if they want to find you, they want to talk.
We're coming fresh off of a win for our Pear soda, so we'll give that one a shot. We won silver for product of the year, which was a humbling experience. Never been to an award show before for anything, actually.
You got a lot of firsts.
Other than graduation, that was kind of an award show. That was a good experience too.
That's awesome.
Super humble
to
have won that. Yeah.
I think that's very good, guys. That's very, very cool.
Wow.
And if they want to find you two, are you guys on LinkedIn or anywhere if they want to?
Yeah, we're I would say that the main thing that we're using right now is Instagram and Facebook, so that'll be the main way to see what we're up to.
We're in the messages always, and our personal profiles are also there, but LinkedIn is something we're really going to get on. We're missing the foot on that one, so we've talked about creating that, and so this is a good reminder.
Keep making your sodas, we'll find you. Yeah, don't worry. LinkedIn will be there.
You guys are a real treat. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much
for coming on.
Much.
Thanks for having
me. You guys can go. Phil, you stick around. You too. We'll chat with you again.
Yeah, take care.
Really appreciate it.
Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Wow, they're cool.
Cool, right? Come on, like seriously, right? I mean, come on.
Who thinks of that? Really?
I just love that shit. I just think it's
let's
awesome.
throw fruit in a soda, and let's go into one of the most cutthroat, competitive.
A tough set. You know what though? It's good that though they had people like Pete, like Craig and Rattan and all these guys willing to, a little advice, a little help. That's a tough. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if they had come to me prior, I would have probably said, guys, man, really,
this is tough.
This is a tough spot.
Yeah,
tough spot.
Yeah.
And it's capital intensive, right? You do have to go buy stuff. Like you need equipment and but I mean, I guess if you're growing it, I mean, and congratulations to Karma for thinking, listen, you can't just sell apples. I mean, I guess you could, but boy, oh boy, it's a tough gig.
Yeah, it's true.
Tough gig.
It's true.
Anyway, very cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that one's really cool.
Yeah, very cool podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.